you touched on it briefly, surrounding the Olympic Games. The opportunity that offers, not just in terms of the regional side of it, but actually in terms of the player base. You touched on it briefly. Do you think that the focus should be primarily just pulling players out of rugby union, or perhaps looking at players like Sam Tompkins from rugby league, or players from that sort of ilk who have made a very good name for themselves and are very, very capable athletes? Do you think there's an opportunity to actually look at the wider opportunity that it presents, particularly as within the Olympic Games?
I do. I think a lot of nations will, if they haven't already, should be trying to find out what the rules are. What are the ground rules? Because I would hazard a guess, we come back to the Team GB in the UK, but I would hazard a guess in New Zealand, if they've worked out as rugby players, there will be 3 or 4 rugby league players that will be putting their hands up saying, I want to be a part of 2016. They're star players that are playing in the NRL. I have no doubt, on top of the fact that you've got the Super 15 guys that will think, do you know what, I want to be a part of this. The decision they may have to make is a financial one. And the fact they may have to forfeit playing for the All Blacks for a period of time in order to realise that dream. But if they have the ability to make that decision, then that's great for a player. He can choose his own destiny and put himself in contention. And I think likewise, I would love to see the best players, rugby players, and I say rugby players, and I'm not going to categorise them into Union 15s or League or Sevens or anything, the best rugby players, in order to build a cocktail of a squad for Team GB that could go out and compete for a gold medal in the Olympics. As long as the players have the autonomy to make the decision and the backing of the stakeholders, irrelevant of the financial consequences to that player, because that's the decision he will have to make ultimately, in order to make himself available and then be a part of a programme for the 12-18 months that they need to leading in order to try and realise a dream of getting a gold medal. That's what I'd love to see, but it requires a lot of stakeholders to get a lot of houses in order, because you've got clubs worried about relegation, gates, of losing a player here, well, he's off doing that, or why is he doing that, why is he not playing rugby league for Leeds, or rugby union for Wasps. There's so much to sort out. And my concern is that we're 2012 now. Before you know it, it'll be upon us. And as I said, you need a 12-18 month lead in. You need to get your management structures in place in order to go out and do your scouting and your selecting. We need to have this in order from a Team GB perspective certainly by the summer, with a clear strategy and a clear way forward about how we're going to attack and try and win this gold medal in Rio. Because for every month that goes by that Team GB don't get their house in order, you can be sure that New Zealand, Australia and South Africa are licking their lips and rubbing their hands and just chucking a few little more pebbles into the pool to make a few more ripples to create some more indecision over here. Because if England, Scotland, Wales get their house in order, they are serious gold medal contenders, and the rest of the world know that.